My name is Michael Petruni, and I'm that typical marching band kid. As many of you have seen, band students have to practice extensive hours and perform in extreme conditions. But what does it actually mean to be a marching band kid? You can say goodbye to the months August, September, October, and the first couple weeks of November because you will either be rehearsing at football games or performing at competitions. It all starts at band camp, which is normally a 2-week event. At camp, members learn the basics of marching, start memorizing music for the show, and learn drill. It is essential that you bring at least 15 gallons of water and SPF 10,000 sunscreen. It is hot, and you will be outside for the majority of the day. Mary Dagaz, a professor and researcher for childhood, family, and education, said, and I quote, "I arrived at band camp on a hot and humid summer morning with no water and no sunscreen. After several hours, students noticed my rapidly burning skin and realized that I was also without water, causing many to laugh and wonder at my ignorance." End quote. A lot of you are probably thinking, why would anybody want to do this? However, there is much more to marching band than most people see. To start, I'll mention that marching bands are one of the most accepting groups of people, and they teach members how to build lasting relationships. My first performance of marching band was at James Madison University Summer Music Camp. The camp was designed to teach students how to march in 1 week and then send them back to their high schools. I did not know that such a large group could be so accepting. When we were rehearsing, we did not see the differences in each other. We only saw other band kids. Dr. Paul Garcia, director of bands at North Carolina State University, asserts that marching band students are, quote, constantly having to find ways to work together with the people around them to achieve a common goal, end quote. We had to be able to work together. Not only are we accepting, but members that spend the most time with each other become a family. The time that we spend together benefits the group and the individuals. The first show that I learned was titled Firebird, based on the music from the ballet written by Igor Stravinsky. And here's a quick look at the show that we learned in 5 days. It was not until I was a sophomore in high school that I realized the amount of dedication that goes into a competitive marching band. Our show was titled Ascension, based off of the Divine Comedy by Robert W. Smith, which is a musical interpretation of the epic poem by Dante Alighieri. I arrived at 7:30 a.m. the first day of band camp at West Johnston. The temperature was already in the high 90s, and I knew that we would be on the parking lot, which made it at least 10 degrees hotter. It felt like I was in the inferno. Gordon Allport, a former professor of psychology at Harvard, argues that membership in a group sometimes has to be fought for or earned. We had to fight through the heat, we had to fight through the fatigue, and we had to fight through the lack of motivation. Band camp strengthened us as a group and as individuals. And we knew that members that stayed through band camp would more than likely stay committed through the season. There we were, marching into the Georgia Dome. As we were marching across the field, I remember having the thought, why do such a small number of students get to experience this kind of performance? I recognize that band has the idea of accepting everyone, but why do so many people choose not to join? One reason that many students choose not to join is the fact that adolescents in music and theater are more likely to be bullied than their peers. Kenneth Alpus, an assistant professor of music at the University of Maryland, and Bruce Allen Carter, an arts educator and researcher at Florida International University State, and I quote, "When compared to non-art students, all art students, male and female, face a 44% increased risk of victimization by any hate speech and an 88% greater risk of victimization by hate speech related to gender," end quote. Even though I have been bullied because of band, I see above the harassment. My relationships that I have in band outweigh the force that hate speech has on me. Others feel the same way. I've observed that after a person joins band, they'll more than likely stay involved with it for the rest of their high school career. It was not until I learned pregame at North Carolina State University that I started to notice the benefits that come from the marching band. The organizations develop self-discipline, trust, and self-confidence within its members. Lotzenheiser, a former director of Bands of America, claims, and I quote, "The very fundamental structure of program excellence is based on the individual self-discipline contributed to achieve the group's goals." End quote. We are as strong as our weakest member, and we build each other up instead of breaking each other down. People can get hurt in marching band, just like in sports, but we have to trust in each other in order to minimize that from happening. Dr. Garcia claims that doing marching band helps us to become more confident in ourselves and, quote, "a well-rounded human being capable of impacting and making change," end quote. The self-esteem and ability to make change all come from the hard work and dedication that goes into marching band. Nothing can fill the place of marching band for me. I've tried baseball, football, hockey, and track and field, none of which could satisfy my desire to perform. I identify as that marching band kid. People outside band know that I spend ridiculous hours practicing, and all of my Saturdays are taken up by performances in the fall. Marching band has transformed so many lives and helped numerous others. I'd like to leave you with this. There's the phrase, "one more time," that band directors like to throw around, even when it's not the last time you do something. To every band member, it actually means do it again till it's correct. Taking this aspect from marching band and applying it to my everyday life has changed everything, and it could do the same for you. Thank you.